Good morning. This is Johan. Back with another UFO story from Norway. This is from the second edition of the Nordic UFO newsletter. The year is still 1981, and this report is sent in by a famous musician in Norway, Mr. Finn Kalvik. This observation was done in Namdalen, a valley north of Trondheim, in the middle part of Norway. Time of observation about the end of Easter, 1970. The witness, Finn Syversen, tells to our correspondent. On the road southwards down the Namdalen valley, at about 1 o'clock p.m., we suddenly caught sight of an object which flew beside the car at a distance of about 40 to 50 meters. The object kept pace with our car at exactly 100 km per hour. A row of trees on the left-hand side obstructed our view of a little, but yet it was not difficult to keep it in sight between the trees, because the wood was widely scattered, and we could glimpse a relatively hilly terrain behind the trees. We had no cars, neither in front nor behind us, so that the point of time seemed to me to be opportunely chosen. First, I thought that it was one of the fighters from the army which flew behind the trees, but 100 kilometers was too low a speed. Well, I tried to say to myself, it's a helicopter, although I already had ascertained that it was not. After having made up my opinion about the object, I wished that my wife should draw her conclusions. Therefore I said, "Would you please take a look out of the left window and see if it is anything behind the trees there?" "Yes, there is a plane there," she answered. I'm going on asking, "Can you see if it has any sort of vertical stabilizer?" "No, it hasn't," she answered. I continue. "Perhaps it is a helicopter then, because it has the same speed as we have." While I'm saying this, I control the speed, which was 100 km per hour. She nudges me and laughs, saying notingly, "You know awfully well that it's not a helicopter." Then at the same moment she becomes serious and rather annoyed, adding, "You have me to say that it's one of those flying saucers?" "No," I'm asking. "I don't want to say anything else than you want to, but you can see the following points. The object flies parallelly with us at the same speed. It is not a plane nor a helicopter. It is hidden behind a row of trees, and there are no other cars on the road, neither behind nor in front of us. Furthermore, I've got the feeling that they who fly the object want to draw our attention to them." My wife will not agree with me completely, but she became clearly uncertain and a little anxious. I tried to calm her down a bit, and said that in a moment the row of trees on the left-hand side is coming to an end, and the object must appear. Seriously, I didn't wish that, because I was a little anxious, too. During the encounter, I had the feeling of being in intense contact with the object without being able to define this in any other way than telepathically. When about 100 meters we left of the wood, which partially covered the object, it began to change its path, ascending slightly and flying in approximately 45 degrees angle to the road we drove on. Then the wood finally ended. I stopped the car and could see the object quite clearly withdraw in an easterly direction, and it had now taken a vertical position again. The object seemed to be silverish, and the shape appeared to me to be somewhat oval. I estimated it to be circular with a diameter of about 10 meters. The height in the center of the object could have been 3 meters or perhaps a little more. It withdrew, as I said before, soundlessly and at the same time descending. Then it disappeared behind a little hill, and I said to my wife, "There it landed." For a brief moment I had nearly forgotten her presence. The intense excitement was still there, and I began a short conversation with my wife. What shall we do? The object was now out of sight from the road, and the distance to the place it could have landed was about 200 to 300 meters. A car appeared from the south and passed us. Then my wife answered my question. We do nothing but drive further. Well, I say, but it didn't seem as they were hostile, or they could have eliminated us into no time. Perhaps they just wanted a contact without too many witnesses, since, in quotes, they tried to allure us away from the road. She obviously didn't want to carry on with the discussion, because she probably was very uncertain. We did have two children sleeping in the back seat of the car, so she was perhaps worried due to this. I continued to tell her which aids we had in the car, which we eventually could defend ourselves, together with an excellent Leica camera with a telephoto lens. I tried with a careful question. We could perhaps try to get some pictures, and then you can take our US carbine with you and 2 magazines for it. And I'll take the ledger which lies under the seat. My wife would still not do it, and to be honest, neither would I, but I hoped for her support. When she wouldn't oblige me in any way, however, I asked her directly if she was afraid, which she confirmed. I told her that I also was a little worried, and had that happened, that people had disappeared, and added that it had happened that people had disappeared without any traces. We finally agreed that we should leave the place and also forget the whole incident and never talk to anyone about what we had experienced. We had no pictures to show, nor any notes, so we couldn't expect anything but scorn. Until today, however, it has been so many observations and also encounters in various ways that I am not afraid to put this observation into line with the many existing accounts. I have to add that many years before this incident I had read and thought a lot about the UFO enigma, but had never imagined the possibility of observing a UFO at such a short distance. I have later not seen anything like it, but I've made up my mind that next time, if there ever will be, I shall not be so worried, but on the contrary, make myself known and try to establish direct contact. Okay. Great story. And this is the actual drawing of the mysterious unidentified object between the trees. Well, next story will be a really, really great one. This story is about an actual UFO landing at a place called Espevær in western Norway. It really is a great story with actual evidence of a print left in the ground. And it's really big. And the object in question had to be of enormous size and weight. So, come back for that story. It's called The Strange Print at Espevær in Bømlo.